Here hex 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 hex. Here hex 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 hex. Here hex 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 hex. Here hex 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 hex.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome. It's been probably 3 weeks or so since I've done a live stream. Welcome. So I've allowed life to, destroy my focus, and I'm having to refocus myself. I don't know what you guys are up to. Things have been like really good for me. At the same time, things have been really drastic changes. None of the price stuff has affected me personally, but I think over like sort of a season feel, it's affected a lot of people. And I was thinking about it today earlier in the shower, that it's not that like people are disbanding alone. Instead, everybody's got a buddy, or everybody stayed in touch with us splintering the Hex community or the PulseChain community. I was seeing that there's a lot of Twitter Spaces action earlier today. People are also migrating to places with YouTubers. Maddie Allen's about to have a conference here at the end of this week. By the way, Finbear, I need to talk to you about that. I would like to know if Maddie's reaching out to you. Maybe we could do a skit together, or maybe I could get on the ball about mailhex.xyz. And I know that there's already a postcard group spot available that's Victor Hex Fan Network is going to man up. So here in the Hex Guild, we've gotten a little bit more quiet, I guess, in the chat. But of course, the same individuals are still there, chiming in every once in a while. And so I just thought that to mark the time, I would go over a few things that were put in there that I recognized. I'm going to share screen here in a second. There's a comment because somebody's watching. Free speech, what's up? Changes sounds like growth. Yeah, totally. Free speech. Did you get the mail that I sent over there? It's a, it should have arrived by now at least. Let's see. I'm going to share screen. I thought this was so funny. Right now in the news, the Palestinian versus Israel protests are going on the university campuses. If they pass any like anti-Hamas legislation about freedom of speech, cracking down on freedom of speech, and not call it terrorism, then we're the ones that are going to be set back. So it's kind of a scary situation right now. And that's what's been going on in my life, is that I've got responsibilities in the real world, and I don't like what I see with government and media outreach, and it gets in my head because, how are we supposed to be able to settle down in a place and know that we're going to have that long term if it is that we're going to be restricted and poisoned at the same time? So I've grown more balls lately. So you're gonna see another revelation of this guy here, Eco Builder. And of course, guys, come over to the Telegram group and join our chat. I'm gonna play this. This is freaking hilarious. Let's see. Make me smaller.
In a spectacle of misguided valor, the privileged warriors bravely advanced, placing their faith in Rubbermaid and patchouli oil. But the guardians of order stood resolute,
They think people are
repelling the
behind them.
advance like the steel curtain. The would-be revolutionaries met not with victory, but with the cold reality of life. Echoes of the folly of youth reverberated across the nation, a cautionary tale immortalized in the annals of absurdity. In a spectacle of misguided valor, the privileged
look back.
warriors bravely advanced, placing
They're
their
like,
faith
everybody's
in
behind us,
Rubbermaid
right?
and
We're making
patchouli
a
oil.
charge.
But the
Making a charge
guardians
on
of
these
order
cops.
stood resolute, repelling the advance like the steel
hilarious.
curtain. The would-be revolutionaries met not.
Oh man, that's hilarious. All right, so let's go over to some action that's been happening. First of all, let me bring you back to me. Yeah, hello. So, let's see. I did the carnivore diet because Finbear suggested it, and I loved it. And I thought I want to do something else, and so let's see. I recognized that I wasn't getting enough magnesium, so I included that into the liquid form into my diet, and also I have added. This is my messy mixing pint. Lately somebody told me about the Master Cleanse, and the Master Cleanse is basically like lemonade, spicy lemonade. So you put maple syrup, lemon juice, cayenne pepper with some water, and maybe increase the temperature of the water. And that's what I have inside of this. And the idea is to take from 6 to 12 per day. And so it's 2 tablespoons of lemon, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, and just a splash of cayenne, whatever you can take. So I'm enjoying it. This is probably number 4 or 5 of today. And I'm finding that, like, I thought the expense was going to be lemons, but the expense might end up being maple syrup, because you're taking quite a bit of maple syrup. Okay, I had to get that out of the way because the things will start dying if I allow it to sit too long. Oh, that spiciness. You know how you change your diet and then you, like, whenever it is that you take on the new food, it's a little bit foreign to you and you're not so sure you want to do this, and you got to prepare yourself for it. I'm at that stage where it's just like, oh, this is normal. And it's only been 2 full days, let's say. Oh, and if I'm giving you instructions on this diet, in the morning, you should take 2 teaspoons of salt with water, the Celtic salt, if you can, and warm up that water as well. So basically 2 pints of water with 2 teaspoons of salt. And then in the evening, take some tea. Something Smooth Move, I think, is the tea compilation that I've got. It's in a video that I posted to the detox portion of the Telegram group. In the last few months, we've divided up the Telegram group to where there's multiple topics of interest. And there's also a she shed. And we made the she shed, but no she's have gone in it. So maybe soon we'll capture a she inside the she shed. But there's a detox place, and that's where people can put things for supplements. SJ went in there and told us about how she defeated her heat waves, which is a blessing. I cheer you on, SJ. Awesome. And over there in the carnivore diet, one of the guys that I know from Twitter came in there and talked about his diet and how the carnivore has really helped him out. And now I just got a text from him saying that he's never going to get off of T-bones. He could just, or was it T-bones or tomahawk steaks? Something like that. He could eat those for days. days and days and days and days. And I like to migrate, do one thing, try another. Okay, so what are we doing next? We're going to go through the Telegram stuff. So Juan has gotten active in creating an oven. I thought this picture was awesome. And so he blessed us with this shot of the plans and the built model. And he even took images from the angles that he took the snapshots. So there in the middle of the main portion of the pit, there's a plate of steel that goes on top of that. So that can be a surface for either open air breathing or more cooking. And then you've got your like pizza oven, bread oven sort of thing attached to it. So I thought this was really neat. So you can route where you put the heat, of course. And to see it in planning stage and then after that, before and after sort of thing. Here he is putting his feet up. And that was his food before it went in. And I think I skipped the after shots. All right, so on to our next subject. I've been paying attention to a guy out in West Texas who runs a group called the Dust Ups, DUSTUPS. So I think he's from like Abilene or Dallas area, and he drives all the way out west, which is like probably 9 hours, like more or less 9 hours. I mean, it's a hell of a drive out there. Where he had bought a piece of property for cheap, and he wants to make a forest out there in the desert. And so I've been watching, like, he actually investigates the local area, and he finds that there's like cottonwood trees, I think, where there's creeks and springs, very, very few. But supposedly the story of the land is like just 100 years ago, whenever none of this land was claimed, really, people would migrate sheep through it and tear it to shit because it used to actually have grasses on it. And supposedly some of these places where there's creeks and other water flow, which is very, very rare, there were these types of what is it, natives, but also natives that are fluctuating with the availability of water, to where like they've just died back into the small crevice that they came from, and so they'll be able to expand back out if it is that we use the right techniques. And there's this guy from Brazil who came out to join this Dust Ups guy. And there's been some people that have come out and volunteered a lot of time, and not so much are getting advertisement from it. This guy does, but most people are just willing to lend their blood, sweat, and tears, which I'm used to in the permaculture community. I'm used to people saying, "Hey, we're running a permablitz," which is where like somebody has a piece of property and they need a lot of work done to it, and they have the tools and maybe the new plants that they want to put into it or the materials that they want to lay down. So they host a get together and they feed everybody and extract work out of them. Typically, you're going to have like you're going to have a lot of people slacking off because they don't have property of their own. And if they do have property of their own, most likely they're not going to visit your property and give you any of their time because they're busy. So that's just kind of how it works. There's just a bunch of city folk who attempt to go out and do something new. But this is so far out there that like you got to have a special skill to offer and get busy doing it. And you're going to be out there, you're going to sleep in a tent 2 nights and be back on the road. Because that guy, I think the Dust Ups guy has a full-time job. Okay, so the Brazilian guy, he has come out and suggested this technique, which is kind of formulating a circle or a bowl in the ground, uh, a bowl with a moat on the outside of it, and then to lay sticks and grasses to where like the whole circle stays together and protects itself from the wind. I thought this was really cool because it's supposedly this guy down in Brazil, he does this in the arid areas of Brazil, which I didn't know there were any. I thought you would have to go into Argentina for that, or Chile. So this is a really cool technique, and you can see down in the bottom right, he stuck some cactus stuff, which was one of the things that the Dust Ups guy was attempting to get propagated in previous episodes. So this is kind of like the latest episode, the latest thing, and the area where they're putting this right now is like right next to camp. So I think there was a reason for that. I forgot the reason. Like why is it that you did that right there? Maybe it's something to do on level ground. You're definitely not going to do it at the washout areas where he was putting rock dams and attempting to catch soil or some sort of sediment, slow some water down. Okay, so I think that was the last. So in this, one of the awesome things that this certain structure offers is that there's some local grasses, and I think like behind this guy squatting down, right behind him is a sample of some of that grass where it grows kind of in a bushel close to the ground. So you can divide that up and get so many individual plants out of it that will then grow into bushels as well. So that's what they're putting into this circular thing of what looks like dead grasses. Well, some of them are still alive. And that was the first time I ever saw that. So we're still spreading the carnivore diet to some people in the Hex community. Finn Bear is very active over in the carnivore section, and I think he might even have a Telegram of his own to talk about the diet. I thought this meme was funny. And Finn Bear also has some chickens this year in his greenhouse. So last year he grew a greenhouse, and this year he's documenting the chickens. And I thought these were all like funny specimens, like Finn going around and taking pictures of them and asking them to stay still, pose for the camera. Can you imagine them? We're gonna get to some really funny looking guys. Here's one on an egg in a box. I don't know the breed of these. I don't know much about chickens. Finn Bear's getting a good share of knowing. You can see it's all within inside the greenhouse. So they're keeping it nice and warm and scratching the bottom and really disturbing the ground. And then I guess you could just shovel that stuff out into the topsoil of your planting beds. Look at that guy. He's funny. Getting close. Yeah, and I thought I'd leave it there. Thanks for joining me. And like with the Hex Guild live streams, I've always made it to where like whoever wants to be a part of the live streams or if you've got something to share, awesome. Schedule it with us. Daraj also has the keys. And he's over on Hex Asians as well. And he has definitely prioritized Hex Asians, keeping that running. But yeah, sorry for my absence. Everything's just fine. I'm just rearranging exactly who I am the man I am and who I'm going to be in the near future to become the man that I'm going to be in the far future, you know? So right now is such an interesting time in the world, but it's also a very interesting time in my makeup because I'm a rat in a dragon year, and supposedly, and I actually feel the energies inside of me. It's a do or die year for me. So there's needed to be some adjustments. But yeah, come on over to the Telegram chat. I hope to get over on the Hex Futures with something new. I think Daraj is working on something new as well, like where it's a pre-recorded video that he'll release and maybe even incorporate some AI into it. What else? Everybody pay attention to what Identity Block is talking about. Because he's one of our early Hexicans, always looking out for the community. And so his voice needs to be heard. Definitely don't dismiss him at all. But he is right now, it's pretty obvious in Twitter that he is going to war with people in our community. And then also over here on YouTube, there's Crypto Wonder, who was maybe like 2 weeks ago. He took a break for a little while, but he's actually in one of my tabs right now. I'm going to listen to what he did in the last few hours. But he's also calling out the same sort of people that ID Block has been talking about, because we're going through like a deep analysis. You know, like I said earlier, the community has been splintered. However, everybody's leaving with a buddy, with a camp, joining a camp, or being, these camps are getting closer together. Like the people inside of each of the camps are growing then too, and it really just relates to like value. Like what is your how do you value other people, and what is your time frame? And I've said it for a long time, and actually Richard called this out a long time ago during the NASCAR stuff. He said Twitter is a dumpster fire, and like Twitter and Twitter Spaces, people can come with whatever opinion, spout off whatever, act so confident in their voice. I have had to block 2 people that are very active people, or cut them off in a way since the whole Richard E. Hex tweet stuff went around and really like shook people and their priorities, let's say. I'm trying to understand. I'm also trying to take care of myself. And also, since that tweet, I think there have been 2 people with dire need of diet change who have come into the community or come into this little portion, this little encampment of the community, and asked me for information, or just asked me for information, and they're changing themselves. So this is what the Hex Guild was meant to be for. Were people who recognize the threats of today and want to best evaluate it and make action for themselves. That's what the whole idea behind Hex Foodies was, and Hex Food Growers before that. Is there's this thing called permaculture. It's a lifestyle built around energy sources, let's say. It's a closer relationship with where all the components of your healthy life come from. And me living over in a rural or suburban environment has its challenges as well. So just add that on to the whole lasagna of the crap that I've been talking about, or that I struggle from. Because I was once told that what's coming to the United States to stay sane in the United States while it's happening is basically insane. It's going to drive you insane. So those are my excuses. But yeah, helping people out is what I want this group to do. And I want people to feel comfortable talking about their diet or changing their lifestyle. And I'm really proud. I mean, just like helping one person, or just having it to where somebody can go somewhere and, we've already got it pre-tuned to ask questions and exchange information. It's already worth it. So, in the future, what we're probably going to end up doing with the Hex Guild live streams is we'll use a Twitter account to make it so where we've got a chat room going, Twitter Spaces, what I just called the dumpster fire. We'll go over there to make it easy for the people on Twitter. We'll also live stream. Let's see. What did I just say? So we'll probably have it to where there's a Telegram chat room going on that broadcasts over to Twitter and then is also recorded, like screen recorded by moi, and presented here on YouTube as well, so that everybody can hear it live, and it's also recorded and put on YouTube. And then hopefully we can grab some of the chat stuff and incorporate that. And so we've only done it in that fashion one time, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Everybody check out what Rags to Riches Brandon Davis has been doing. I think he's got something interesting, some ladder he's climbing right now. I plan on scheduling some time with him on that app to get his stats up. Y'all consider doing that. And then also the Hex Postcards group, everything's running nice and smooth. We actually got a whole nother large donation. And so I think we're going to hit, how many are we going to hit? We might end up hitting 100,000 houses in Canada here very soon. And that'll be, I think, like mainly, let's see, West Coast. That's this side for you guys. Mainly Vancouver area, I think, is where their wealthiest people are. What else? If I haven't talked to you personally in a while, I don't mean anything by it. I just need to take my time. But hey guys, as it is that we have a time of reflection, because I know a lot of people are doing it right now, and needing a reset, needing a break, needing a vacation, whatever. Look back on yourself. Like try to better yourself and rise above the commotion, or just whatever it is that you take a step back, fortify yourself. I naturally do this because I don't know, I burn out and then readjust. Maybe I'll get jealous of something that I see and it'll give me motivation. I don't know. But if you need that reminder, hey, go get that breath of fresh air. Try something new. You only have one body, so take care of it. Kick some ass. But yeah, don't get discouraged by what's happening inside the community, because it's basically like we've had these voids that needed cleaning. And yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time for things to get figured out, but make yourself active, and stay in touch so that nothing's a surprise. You know, everything's just, oh yeah, that's par for the course. Okay, cool. Yeah, if you guys can think of anybody who would like to receive some mail, or if you guys are just having conversations with people about Hex and, oh, where could I get some PulseChain or Hex cards or stickers or whatever, my stuff is available for free. And then also mailhex.xyz is a website that you can go and just download. You can go there and download whatever files and print them off yourself locally. I'm trying to think of what it is that I'm going to talk about on Maddie's conference thingamajigger. I'm only going to do it if he gives me the opportunity to be alone on the screen. And if that's the case, I might also just record something. So it's just like, boom, there's a commercial. I think Victor, Hex Fan Network, speaking for Hex Postcards, I think he's thinking about doing a similar thing as that. Of course, whenever I press the end button, I'm going to think of something. Okay. As Hexalina says, we're all getting girlfriends next year or this year. I don't know. Hexalina, tell me, when's it going to happen? I've got shit to do. I'll see you guys later. Keep up the good. Steak and steak long. Let's see an intro, an exit. Oh yeah, this one.